Good morning, or good afternoon, good midday. Right here where I am, it is 12 noon. What's going on? Everybody get a chance to start enjoying your Saturday yet, or are you still in bed, still home? Have you had breakfast yet? I just had breakfast not too long ago. I was up very late having a couple of important conversations. And yes, important conversations. So yesterday morning, mid morning, I did a video live where I stated my position further on. So so this situation is local, but it does have to do with free speech and um, some people that were arrested for harassment, and to which I disagreed with. um, and I disagreed with it, and but it wasn't until and I stated my position because people kept taking shots at me and making comments and this and that. So that's why I did the video yesterday, right? So last night I got into a further conversation about free speech and about that particular situation. Somebody with deep knowledge, and I was informed that when these people were arrested, it was not only for that single incident. And the incident being that, they did a video mocking Ophelia and her son, adult son, but he has a disability. So my whole stance on it was, hey, you know what? It's free speech. It might be ugly. You might not like it. I don't like it, but you know what? It's free speech. So this conversation I had last night, I was enlightened and given so much more information. For example, remember when we talked about yesterday? We talked about well, it's free speech, but at some point it does cross a harassment line, right? Remember that? And I learned that this mocking and which now I will call it harassment. Um, yeah, there has been harassment, and it was going on for years. Yes, years. And I was given a rundown of all the items that this happened, all the things that have happened from that party in San Antonio, to Ophelia and her family. And yes, there have been, once that started, of course, it started back and forth. So, everything just kept going. However, I learned of some of the things, and I've seen photos and discussions and screenshots, and I can't be real specific because that investigation is ongoing, and I don't want to ruin that at all. Believe me, I don't, especially after what I learned last night. But there's been harassment, and you can say stalking, and I would call it abusive harassment, going on for years. I mean, I was shocked because I didn't know. I knew some things, but I was busy in life doing my own little. I had started my show, and I was just, busy trying not to be involved. So after learning all this, I was like, well, shit. Well, that changes everything. That changes my stance on how I feel about this situation, because it was not only for this recent event. This couple was not arrested only for this event, but for a string of events that goes back years. So, um, so I called Ophelia last night. I said, "Hope you're not. I didn't wake you up." We spoke, and I let her know. I said, "You know what? I'm sorry because I didn't know all this other information." And so I did apologize to her. Again, if it was only for that one incident, I'll stand my ground on that. But knowing that this crossed that line we talked about the other day, or like, well, where is that line? Where does free speech become harassment? And beyond that, or stalking, and contacting family members, and I mean, going way, way, way. It now becomes a creepy factor. And I was like, whoa. I mean, this goes back to 2021. This goes back to 2021. Right now, we're at the beginning of 2025. Good morning, everybody. And so, integrity is important to me, right? And that's why I had this up here on the screen. Wisdom, the ability to correct yourself. And again, this is not for clout. This is not for views. This is because, I felt I wanted to come out and do the right thing and correct myself. And you know what? I was wrong about that situation. As a whole, yes, I was wrong about that situation. And now after seeing everything, I wish I could show you guys and tell you about it, but I can't. And I suppose at some point it will come out. But some of the things that went on, I was even like, I'm on the phone, I'm looking at these things. Like, really? And like, what the? And, and I know I went live last night showing JJ stuff. And I wanted to get into this then. But it was too late. But at this point now it's 1 a.m. and I was like, nah, I'm gonna wait. Gather my thoughts. And I do wish I could say more. I know it's kind of a big teaser, right? This has to do with a couple in San Antonio that Ophelia here, she's with the Peacocks United. I know it's called something different now. And they're a page. She's a page. And this person from San Antonio who has their own page and platform, they just got into a beef. And, there was a back and forth that happens. But they started including Ophelia's son, who has a disability. He's an adult son, but he has a disability. And they started including him in the assaults and the attacks, which I do think is fucked up. But even what happened recently, they mocked her, and they did a scene where they mocked Ophelia and her her son who has a disability, and that was in poor taste, and it was. But at the time, I thought that was the only thing, and I was like, yeah, it's in poor taste, but you know what? It's free speech. Like, nobody likes it. I think it was dumb, but it's free speech. But then I found out about all these other things, and it's like, holy crap! This was not just an argument or harassment. This is almost like this is a campaign to embarrass somebody, to humiliate somebody, and it crossed a lot of lines a lot of times, and that's why last night I was like, yeah, you know what? I gotta correct myself. Now that I know this, I have to correct myself because it's just the right thing to do. Um, I was getting a lot of hate messages because I didn't take her side, or it's against someone who has a disability. And I'm still gonna say you can call someone with a disability names, and that's protected free speech. Believe it or not, it is. But once you cross a line and it gets into harassment, well, then different story. And someday, or some things will be able to come out. Some of you may already know if you've been following her for years, closely anyway. You probably know some of the things that were involved. I'm not going to say them or give details because there is an investigation going on, and so much is included in this report that she did, and it was submitted on her son's behalf, that I don't even think Ophelia knows the whole scope of everything that was included in this report. So that's why I don't want to speak and out of term and ruin something. Yeah, it's harassment. I am a sane, lucid, intelligent man, and I know that free speech there can be a thin line as to what's free speech and what's not. But harassment is harassment. You can sugarcoat it any way you want to, but harassment is harassment. And this was, once you see all these things, you're going to go, what? At some point, you're going to know and see these things. And judging by what I've seen last night, what was brought to my attention, I'm surprised these people have not been arrested, 3 years ago. Not just recently. And it's just, it's Hey, John. Yeah, and when you include children and your kids and other family members, I talked about this last night when I was showing JJ, and I have my opinions on that as well, and it's not cool to do it just to, blatantly to harass. This is a true story. Vanessa posted a pic of my granddaughter and myself. Beautiful little girl. And then Vanessa went to call him a pedophile and a pervert and all that. And then, of course, her whole crowd jumps in like that. And that's messed up. That's horrible. And and that's another one. Vanessa has gone to those depths to say things like that about people. She insinuated that I was a rapist or something like that, or she said that. So her whole crowd ran with that too. And although I don't like it, I gotta just shrug it off because she's a mental case. and I don't take anything that she says seriously. That's a whole other story. Whole other story. Oops. Hey, Christy. Do you remember when VT dragged Roy and his elderly mother to the PD and made him file harassment charges against her? Yeah, yeah. Very controlling like that. Very controlling. And anyway, the whole point to all this was I made a strong stance that, yeah, that was free speech and, that she shouldn't have been arrested. Well, now I think something should have happened as far as an arrest, 3 or 4 years ago. Because once you get too personal in harassing somebody and it gets to the point where it's pretty much physical, then that line's already crossed. And it's like, now I'm thinking, fuck, why did it take this long? Why weren't these people jailed back then? And I really, really wish I could tell you some of these things, but you know what? I can't. Because I don't want to mess up her case against these people from San Antonio. And somebody asked, what is the page in San Antonio? Somebody else wants to fill her in. Feel free to do so. But I'm not going to say the name or say the page. Not because I'm afraid. It's got to do more with, I don't want people visiting that page. No, but if somebody else wants to, and hey, that's fine. I just and all night I was thinking about this. I was thinking, fuck, man, I want to show this, or I want to show these screenshots, or these photos, or these instances of harassment, or tell this story. Yeah, but I can't. You gotta trust me on this one. This is really bad. This is really bad. And I know that Vanessa wants to ride the coattails of this arrest, and now she wants her own cases looked at and arrested, and she's making her case to have people arrested. This is different. This is apples and oranges. We're talking about people with an actual disability. We're talking about harassment lines that have been crossed physically. And with Vanessa, there's none of that. I know she claims to have autism, but I don't believe it. I don't believe that's the case. And she'll find out. If you ever go to court on any of this, and you're using, a protected, like the ADA, for example, the Americans with Disabilities Act, and you're using that or trying to use that as a protection in court, they will ask you, what is your disability? And, where are your physicians, or show us a documentation, or who do we talk to? And that's what's going to happen. So if you have an actual disability, well then, no problem. Here's the documentation, Dr. So-and-so, Dr. So-and-so, these are the studies, these are the tests, and there it is. There's a diagnosis. But just to say you have a disability because you think you do, or you want people to believe you do, no, doesn't work like that. Anyone attacking minors, dead family members, and their handicap is a bankrupt person. It seems though it is. I don't know. I've never liked when you start pulling kids into And I guess mostly I'm talking about little kids. You bring little kids into a live program, and I know a lot of people do it now that are famous and they're out there live. Jennifer, what up? How you been? Nice to see you. I used to work with Jennifer at Kearney, Nebraska. Kearney, Nebraska, at the airport there. Um, so yeah. Anyway, that is that. I did call a failure last night. And I say, yeah, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't know all this stuff, and now it's different. It's different for me, and it's different legally as well. And she said thank you, and um, it was nothing personal. And if it was only regarding that incident with that little skit that they did mocking, I would still hold my stance. But knowing that there's a history that goes back years and years, it's like, oh man. And it wouldn't be right if I just stayed quiet and let it go. So, and it's funny because I was getting threatened with I'm going to lose viewers and this and that yesterday. And you know what? I lost some, but then I gained so many more on YouTube. People started signing up on YouTube and telling me, saying nice things and telling me in the comments there, hey, you gain one, you gain another one, you gain another one. So eventually I'll be making a move to YouTube. So anybody who doesn't have a YouTube page, it's not a bad platform. I know it's not like a neighborhood like Facebook. I don't know. Sometimes I'm starting to think maybe that's a good thing. Joey, I can't. I cannot show clips. I cannot show a sneak peek. I cannot show. It's evidence. And these are things that were turned in to Raymondville Police Department. And the other party may not have seen all these things. So I'm not going to do anything to mess up this investigation. At some point when it's the right time, they will come out. Some people have already seen this stuff because it happened years ago. But yeah, I was told under advice of reliable counsel is talk about it like this, but don't show anything yet because this thing is not over yet. Hey, Annie. Romulus. Sounds like another planet. Romulus. Hey, Julie. Is VT getting arrested? Nah, I don't know. I doubt it. I don't think she's very afraid of getting arrested. I mean, getting arrested is, it's inconvenient if it happens on a, Friday night because then you're stuck there till Monday. I don't know. Is there an offense? Like stolen valor, which I believe that to be it is a crime. It is a felony, if I'm not mistaken. And I find people who would fake autism or fake cancer to benefit them in whatever way, that's a shitty thing to do. That's a horrible thing to do. And I think that in itself should be definitely some kind of a crime. Hey, Julie. Yeah, it's not. I'm actually pretty much done already. I just wanted to. I know there are some parties that are interested sincerely, and there are some people that just don't like me and they're going to talk shit no matter what. So this is not for them. If you don't like me for whatever reason, then continue not to like me, please, because it doesn't affect my life. But I think this is important. I think it's important. I think it's important, for your integrity, for how people see you, for how you handle yourself and what goes on in your mind and doing what's right. So, and for those that continue, I just got these sound clips. Those that continue not to like me or don't want to like me.
How dare you?
Yes.
How dare you?
How dare you? Absolutely. So, anyway, I think with that, enough said on that. I don't want to just beat a dead horse. Watch the replay if you came in a little late. I wish I could give evidence and show you things but I don't want to mess up an investigation. I don't want to mess it up for Ophelia. I don't. Now I'm really interested to see how this is going to play out. If it was just a free speech thing, that's different. But this goes way beyond that. And I think if you guys saw some of these acts and things that were done, and just people involving themselves to go in and try and make contact and that kind of thing, it's like, yeah, that's pretty creepy. That's not right. So, but I can't show it. I can't. I would be screwing up a lot of things, and I'm not gonna do that. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Yeah, well, I think just the fact that she's saying it. I mean, I kept thinking about all the times where she says it, and I kept thinking about people in my past, in my life, that I've known who have autism or have children, relatives that have autism. And I've never heard anyone go on and on about it the way she does. Not normal. So, stolen valor is what I believe. That's a good name for it. We should, maybe there is a term. I haven't looked it up yet. But I think it'd be good to come up with a term for people who fake cancer. I mean, fraudsters, right? Because they're usually doing it to collect money. Vanessa doesn't claim to collect money, and maybe she doesn't. But just the fact that you want sympathy because you want people to think you have autism, that's a pretty shitty thing to do. Yeah, and people who have that disability, they act their own quirky ways. Elon Musk, which a lot of people don't like for some reason. I don't know why. But Elon Musk is on the spectrum. He's got Asperger's. He's got Asperger's. And not just with Asperger's, but people on the spectrum do a lot of quirky, can be very awkward in their hand movements, their gestures, the way they speak. And so when he did that thing that everybody's calling, the Sig Heil, the Hitler thing, that's just one of those things. He obviously was not doing the Hitler wave. It's dumb to think that. And if you watch him speak, sometimes he seems uncomfortable when he's talking. He's getting better at it as he's speaking publicly a whole lot more. And but yeah, that they do quirky things, and it's just part of being on the spectrum, and everybody's different about it. But when it's fake, it's fake. And using it to try to get somebody using it to try to benefit you somehow, something is wrong with that. There you go. Malingering is the intentional fabrication or exaggeration of physical or psychological symptoms to gain an external benefit, such as avoiding work and obtaining financial compensation, or something else, like trying to have people arrested for something. Liberty Lady says, I raised an amazing young man on the spectrum for over 20 years. My son does not talk about it 24/7. Yeah, that's the other thing I find weird, is she always talking about it. Like, I'm on the spectrum. I have autism. I'm on the spectrum. I'm on the spectrum. And I've never heard anybody, act that way. Yes, and there are high-functioning people. And even those high-functioning people don't walk around going, I have autism. I have autism. It's not like they're seeking people out. Hey, I have autism. Hey, yeah, come here. I have autism. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Oh, cool. Thanks, Jan. I'm glad you stopped by. Nice to hear from you. Oh, yeah. There's pictures of so many pictures came out after that with the salute. And then doing it. And then if somebody's going like this, and then somebody snaps a picture right at this point, that's deception as well. And that's the mainstream media right now. Sad. So anyway, I won't keep boring you guys. That is that. Basically, yeah, I'm changing my stance, and I believe this couple should have been arrested a long time ago. And now, seeing what I've seen, these charges should have happened a long time ago. But you know what? I'll come out and say it, and I know people still will not be happy, and that's fine. And this is not for you. This is for Ophelia, and I got no beef with her, and I'm cool with her, and now I understand. That's all I'm going to say. Now I understand. It's different now. And that's why I'm saying this publicly. Kind of like a public apology, but a different kind, right? Alrighty, 40 minutes. I'm out of here. Time to do Saturday crap. Have a good day, everybody. Bye.